All right, so let's talk fixes. Things that I think can be fixed on the Lenovo Legion Go. Um, let's just start there. So as you can see, there is I got SpongeBob Battle of Bikini Bottom Rehydrated playing on both of them, simply because I want to show the differences in the screen and that stuff. But I will get back to that in a second. Um, the biggest fixable right now that can be fixed easily, in my opinion, is sound quality. I think the sound quality with a few changes can be a lot better than it was when you were first initially taken out the box. And to do so, you're just literally going to your you're going into your search bar, you're typing in Realtek Audio Console. Once you're in here, you just want to go to speakers, change your equalizer settings to exactly what I have here, and then kind of turn off the Omni speaker. And I feel like that is the initial easiest step to take in order for you to have a better sound experience. Not saying it's great, but it definitely will be better. And it's sufficient to be utilized as you game. The next fixable thing is not necessarily all the way fixable, but you can skirt tail a few things in order to avoid a lot of complications. Um, when you're going into the performance and you're changing stuff around, I think that the most efficient one I found was that you leave it the thermals on performance and you leave the OS on efficiency. Those two combined allow for a pretty decent experience. Obviously, if you're going to be plugged in, you crank it all the way out. But this combines, to me, the best of both worlds with power and the battery life being conserved. Those are fixables to me, where you can like use things properly. Because if you're switching that stuff around, man, I tell you, there's going to be a lot of weird things happening that you're going to be like, why is this happening? But I think there's a lot of software kinks that need to be worked out, but if you leave it on those settings for a little bit, give them time to catch up and add new drivers and things like that, I think you'll have a better experience outside of just trying to constantly change and adapt. Um, I'll pick two profiles and stick with it. I think the performance and efficiency is the one for me because it helps me with everything I need to do. And then if I really need to crank everything up, I will switch everything over to the hard performance. But honestly, turn on performance and then customize it just a tad bit by turning the OS power mode down to efficiency. Um, Fixable, but I have not found the answer yet. Is this the fan curve? There is a way for you to kind of maximize or minimize the sound of the fan. I am not the tweaker, and I haven't found a video yet for the type of power usage I want to use for the fan to feel comfortable. Obviously, uh, it has these safety nets where you can not blow up your system, and if it heats up too hot, it'll just turn off. But I haven't found anything where the fan could be minimized to the effect that I want it. But it definitely is fixable, and I have seen people change that for the better. Next thing would be fixable. Another software thing is the joysticks and switching from FPS mode to non-FPS mode. What I'll say is leave these joysticks on until you start the game and then switch to FPS mode. If you are changing things on the fly and this thing has to reconnect, desync, reconnect, it causes issues when you're actually in the game. So what I'll say is start the game normally, and then once you're in there, switch over to FPS mode. Make sure you have Legion space open, and I think you shouldn't have any connectivity issues. I'm just talking slowly about weird things that I've noticed, but they are not they're not game changers. They basically are things that will help you experience the Lenovo Legion Go in the way you anticipate to experience it. Um, Outside of that, really, there's nothing major that needs to be shared. I think Play Night is like Lenovo just has Windows just have a weird way of connecting third party software and things like that. It works well to a degree, but then there is sometimes when I am installing a game and I try to go to play that game, and then all of a sudden the controllers aren't working anymore. It's very strained in that way. So I'm not saying that Play Night is the catch all end all for everything, but it definitely helps when consolidating your library, maybe installing your games, rebooting it, refreshing it, and then starting to play will allow for those games to run well. Because if you try to install, then play, obviously there's windows popping up in the background and allowing the firewall to go through, accepting these permissions is kind of causing problems. So if you are going to use Play Night, be conscious that maybe I should start these game up through their regular party program system, let the permissions go through, play it, and then the next time, once it's all said and done, which obviously I know is cumbersome, but it's a way for you to kind of avoid a lot of the weird stuff. So this is all just fixable little things that I kind of wanted to mention because, yeah, just, it's small but impactful. Now, let's talk about conserving some battery life. This here is SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is being ran through Chiaki on my PS5. As you can see here, it will show you that this is on my PS5. These small games like this, I really think people should start taking advantage of your streaming services, like remote play, not cloud gaming, because right now I don't feel like it's that good, but remote play at least, if you have a PS5 that you are literally sitting around and no one's using it other than you, this is a way for you to conserve battery life. This is a way for you to have a good experience without having to draw on the system at all times. Obviously, this is drawing on the system, and just here talking with you guys, the battery has went from 80% down to 73%. Just from this conversation, I'm just sitting here on this screen. Now, again, it's on performance and it's on efficiency. So you're getting about 2.5, maybe 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours tops on this battery system. And it's just not ideal. So I'm just telling you ways to conserve battery in order for you to get the best experience. I am trying to get this thing to last at least 4 hours at all times, 4 to 5 hours for me. And I can do that most of the time with the games I play and how I tend to interact with my systems. But again, if you're trying to run native stuff, plug it in and then you're good to go. But um, there is plenty of ways to optimize battery life on this thing. And there's ways to continuously grow with that. So I'm giving it grace and I'm trying to learn everything about it, how to conserve um, on that. Because again, you don't want to be tied to a a wall at all times. I know I don't. And with remote play, obviously you can just sleep the console, start it right back up where you left off, and there's no issues. It's just understanding what those functions are and how they work. And again, uh, it all depends on your setup, what you do at home, and blah blah blah. But in my opinion, it's just a way to conserve. At sometimes it's just not necessary to run every game natively. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this is just one comparison, because I am going to make a dedicated video about comparing the Steam Deck with this. I think I just need to find the time and the right topics, but what I would say here is that the reason why I'm picking up my Lenovo Legion Go more is simply because of the screen. The screen here is, in my opinion, just way more immersive. I can see a lot more, and it just makes sense to use it at all times. It just doesn't really. That's it. I mean, that's all you really need. I think the screen itself is just it brings you into the games closer, brings you into the games. It's more immersive, and with the functions of the FPS mode, the kickstand, it allows for a lot more versatility than the Steam Deck can offer. I'm not saying that the Steam Deck has any issues there, but the big component here, and I wanted to show that, is just simply that screen, man. It's a really great, powerful, and beautiful screen. So that's it for this video. I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of fixable things that and how to skirt tail some things, but I will be back Monday with some more videos around this. Give me a lot more time to kind of get this get some more research done and kind of figure out how I want this truly set up, and then maybe sharing that with you guys at a later time. But yeah, still gonna be some more Lenovo videos. I'm not sure if it's gonna be right on Monday, but we're definitely gonna keep this going as I am enjoying the device and I'm enjoying talking about it. So that's pretty much it for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, if you enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be back next week. Peace.